Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Metals Investor Forum's backstage interviews. We're here with Andrew Pollard, who's president and CEO of Blackrock Silver. Andrew, thanks for being with us today.
It's great to see you alive and well, Peter. I know you just went through a very, very tough battle, but here we are on the other side of things and couldn't be happier to chat with you.
Yeah, it's today's reality. You know, COVID is still around, and I'm certainly feeling a whole lot better. But let's talk about BlackRock. Certainly, a lot of exciting news in the last few months, and let's start first with your flagship, which is of course Tonopah West in Nevada, the most active silver exploration project in North America. What's the status of Tonopah West, and what can viewers expect over the next few months?
Well, listen, Tonopah West is a project that we've had for about 2.5 years. In the first year and a half's worth of drilling, we've been able to backstop it now with easily the highest grade ounces in the ground of any silver exploration or developer out there right now, and not by a little, by a lot. I mean, we're had leaps and bounds ahead from number two or three or four in terms of highest grade undeveloped projects out there currently. And what we've done since we put out our resource in May was we've kept stepping out. So the size of the prize is growing massively beyond anything that we thought from an area point of view. I mean, we've more than doubled the footprint of mineralization beyond where that initial resource ended off. And what we're finding out is that it's still wide open along strike all the way out to the west, and it's still open at depth too. So it just keeps getting bigger. But what we have now is, we're just, effectively just drilling away. Every news release we put out is getting bigger, and we're also just showing that, there's still lots of meat left on the bones of those old timers left behind for us, and the eating's pretty good so far.
All right. So, in terms of potential size, in terms of consistency of grades, I guess viewers can expect the size to grow, the grades to at least continue in terms of what we've seen so far.
Well, you know what's interesting is our maiden resource. We'll just use that as sort of a focal point because that's something that's easily can be referenced, and then maybe you can extrapolate from there. So that was drilled over two deposit areas, roughly 1,200 meters or so in strike, and from that we were able to deliver about 43 million ounces at 450 grams per ton or so silver equivalent. Now we've since stepped out another 1.6 kilometers along that same structure. So it's very easy now to just sort of break out the ruler and say, okay, well, if 1.2 kilometers gives us this, we'll add on this. Grades are, you're going to hit high grades, you're going to hit low grades, but what you're going to see is internal to the areas that we're currently drilling is lots of high grade shoots along the way, similar to what we drilled in that original area. From a resource point of view, the resource we put out was nearly identical in terms of size and grade to Las Chispas when they came out with their maiden resource, when Silvercrest came out with their maiden resource in 2018. Now, what's happened since with Las Chispas is that not only have they stepped out, but once you have a handle on the high grade structures, once you're able to go underground and start drilling those veins from underground and chasing those high grade structures right at their face, drilling from surface is what we're doing right now, and it's generally wide spacing, and you really are just doing the broad strokes of figuring out, okay, are there veins there? Yes, we know it. Are they mineable widths? Well, yeah, they absolutely look like they are so far. Are the grades good? Yeah, it's the highest grade project in the industry right now. Well, we know that we're doing the broad strokes from surface, but similar to what Silvercrest did. Well, guess what? Their average grade from their resource, maiden resource, went from about 550, 560 to it's over a kilogram per ton now, and that's because they're able to get underground and start chasing these high grade structures. So we don't even necessarily need to keep stepping out kilometers and kilometers. No, we know that if we're able to do this back of the napkin resource with just our surface drilling, once we're underground, any competent mining company and any sort of analyst will be able to see that, oh, okay, well, you start drilling out these high grade shoots, you figure out which way they're raking. You might not be adding a lot of new tons internal to the resource, but that average grade just rockets up, and that's what we're also looking forward to in the future as well. But right now we're just doing the broad strokes of the expansion drilling just from surface, and ultimately we think it's got many ways to not only get bigger but higher grade too.
So that's interesting. Like you're saying, once you're underground, and if you can increase the grades, then you're going to lower your strip ratio, and so the value, the quality of each of those tons goes way up.
Yeah, you'll find that a little bit of our tons will have a lot of the ounces, and that's just the way these things are. That's why, you don't need, say you drill out these veins, the stopes, the actual mineable portions of each vein don't have to be continuous for the whole kilometer. What they're going to do is when they put together a mine plan on these sort of things, they'll go to those really good areas. They'll figure out how do we get that high grade first. Within, they'll trim all the fat off, all the gristle, as they say, and they'll go right into these pods, these high grade shoots, and that's where you'll go, and that's where all that filet mignon will be.
All right, so you've got some other interesting, very exciting things going on. Tell us about Tonopah North. It saw 9,000 meters of drilling. You were looking for gold and silver, but I'll let you speak to the surprises that came along.
Yeah, well, listen, so with our initial modeling at Tonopah West, we've always sort of had the suspicion that the veins will start to curve up towards the northwest, and we've been proven correct there because that's exactly how they are. Well, knowing that early on in our drilling, we went and staked all of the ground around us so we could get our hands on to the north and to the northwest of us. And did a wildcat exploration round of drilling with an RC rig earlier this year, just sort of poking around, trying to, effectively they're geologist holes, trying to help us vector in on high grade silver and gold mineralization based on a few theories. Well, it turned out every single drill hole that we did in search of silver and gold actually hit lithium. And as we sort of got a handle on the lithium, we're able to get a handle on which way the high grade zones in that are going. And the last, portion of the drill results that we had from this first round of drilling at Tonopah North, we sort of had this idea of which way the high grades would be going, and then we seem to hit it in all of them. So we're averaging really, really high grade lithium or good grade lithium, very, very comparable to some very, very well known, highly followed deposits directly adjacent to us in the area. And this stuff is completely at surface. I mean, all of our drilling at Tonopah North there encountered lithium from, say, 8 meters below surface down to about 150 meters or so below surface, and we were hitting up to like 1,200 ppm lithium, which is really, really good. For other, this would be it's not a brine and it's not a pegmatite or a carbonate. This is sort of in between. It's a new style of mineralization that is now catching the market's attention simply because there's ways to extract it now that just didn't exist before. So the grades we're getting are very good. We've actually had a significant amount of interest come in the door because everyone knows, drilling one project and drilling for gold and silver that's a miracle if you can hit that, let alone having two viable sort of looking projects. So yeah, we're having lots of, I guess, background discussions right now with some, interesting groups giving us ideas and we might try and find a way to monetize this for investors so that they can participate not only in what is the most oversold commodity on the planet right now, in my view, which is silver, but
Right.
also get exposure to a problem using potentially other people's money on what is a commodity that's only been going and going and going. It's all-time high, and it looks like that's going to be going higher too. So if I had to choose two commodities to be in right now, it would be the most oversold and one that's going higher. And it looks like, we're in a great jurisdiction for mining, period. The Tonopah West is what really gets me excited every day. But this lithium thing, I mean, that could be big because the two projects that it looks like or has very near similarities to, just the market caps of those two companies alone are significantly larger than BlackRock is, and they don't have a silver gold project. They've got this lithium project. So who knows? I don't know what could be bigger, at the end of the day in terms of valuation potential, but it looks like we might have two winners here. So we'll
Sure.
see.
So, I mean, you touched on that, but lithium is either at or near record all time highs.
Well, right. And it's
Yeah.
also, what makes this very interesting is that, silver is seen as a green metal now. I mean, it absolutely
Right.
is. Well, so is lithium. This makes us a very, very unique investment at the end of the day when funds are looking, when analysts are rating us, because there's lots of silver companies, there's lots of silver, zinc, lead, copper companies, silver, gold companies. There's no silver lithium company out there. And on an in situ basis, in terms of what we've got at Tonopah West, the metals, the ounce in the ground valuations right now are about 50-50 gold and silver. So we're high, just a little more silver than gold, but we're even backstopped by Old Faithful gold. So,
Right.
we're like a pizza with three different toppings and they're all delicious. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Let's touch very shortly, quickly on Silver Cloud. That's your, I guess, third project you'd call it. Silver Cloud's in a very good gold neighborhood of Nevada as well,
Yeah.
and it's seen some really good intercepts too. Are you going to advance the drilling through this fall?
Yeah, we've got a couple drill holes laid out, maybe 3 to 4 drill holes laid out up there, testing some new concepts on orientation. This isn't just a good gold belt. I mean, it's that easily the highest grade gold belt in Nevada. Two of the highest grade gold mines in the world when they were in operations are Hollister and Midas, and we're on trend to there. What's really interesting about this project is the fact that just north of us, Newcrest just did a massive joint venture deal like to the tune of $100 million over 5 years if they earn into it, for very prospective ground similar to ours up there. And clearly the big boys are watching what's going on up there. This is, if this were the Golden Triangle, and the issue with the Northern Nevada Rift that we're on is that it's all the big companies have already staked up all the land, but it's a similar size, it's a similar gold belt to say the Golden Triangle. The only difference is the Golden Triangle has 40 or 50 or 60 junior mining companies pounding the table on it. Up there, I mean, we've got 45 square kilometers, surrounded by two of the highest grade gold mines on the planet in their heyday, but no one really knows anything about that area because there's no juniors doing anything. So, that's as third projects go, it's not a bad one to have. It's not the focus for us. I mean, we've got so many targets and so much drilling laid out for us where we know we can add tangible value with every drill hole at Tonopah West that but we want to keep some attention up there because we think that this is a project someone will want one day, and it needs to see, it needs to move forward too. So
Great.
yeah,
So,
we'll
and
see.
so on that note, sort of last maybe comments. What's the kind of news flow that investors can look forward to over the next few quarters?
Yeah, well, we've got drilling's never stopped at Tonopah West. We've got double digits amounts of assays pending. Drills are slated there through the end of the year and probably going into early next year. We've got massive step outs in the lab. So we just reported that we've connected on a step out 1.6 kilometers from where the resource left off, and I think we're either drilling right now or our next hole that we are drilling there is a 500-meter step out from there.
Wow.
Putting this into context, all of the production historically from Tonopah was done over about 4.5 kilometers of strike potential historically. That was about 200 million ounces of silver and 2 million ounces of gold. Well, we've just got about 3 kilometers of strike drilled out from surface. We're testing another 500 meters or so. And guess what? We've got another kilometer or so beyond that to our project boundary to the west. So we might have the exact same strike potential remaining and be able to show that via drilling that the old timers had. And I mean, it's truly remarkable. The drilling's not the hard part. The hard part was someone getting their hands on this over the last 100 years because I mean, it's amazing that this has been sitting there untouched.
So you guys managed to consolidate the whole thing, and here we are today.
Yeah, well, we've done all of this in about two years of drilling or so. Give me another year, and we'll have a hell of a better idea of just how big this thing's going to get. But I think it's safe to say it's only going to get bigger.
Sounds very exciting, and I'd certainly encourage everyone to follow the events and use very closely at Blackrock. Thanks for that, Andrew.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Pleasure.